So hi and welcome back to the channel. Today I'm talking about how to plan your reading, especially if you are like me, you're reading many books at the same time and or parallel and want to keep pace and you want to progress, but still you don't want to just read one book. How can you do that? Um, if you are new to the channel, you are maybe not aware that I'm an avid Malazan reader. I've read Malazan Book of the Fallen, all the books in the main 10, and the other ones by Insi Esselmont I'm currently reading. Malazan at the moment is a background reading for me now. I read Malazan when I have the energy, when I have time, when I really feel for it. I'm currently at Bone Hunters, but it's in the background. So that's, I usually have background book, so to speak. And at the moment that's Malazan. I have also recently finished Witcher Baptism of Fire, and there are many books in the Witcher saga, so I'm taking a break at the moment with that one to focus on three books. And the three books I'm focusing on right now is Kingdoms of Death by Christopher Rucchio, the Sun Eater series. It's The Expanse by James S.A. Corey, and it's Shogun by James Clavell. All these three books are great. Actually, this one is, I think this one is, it's the whole book. It's a standalone actually, so that's unusual for me. I think that's one of the reasons I switched books, because I read large and long book series, and it's a way not feeling locked in for a long time. You know, you have to read 7 books. That can take a while, especially if you have family and you have work and so on. So today I just want to present a bit of how I planned my reading this week and this weekend. So main focus in the beginning of the week was Kingdoms of Death to advance. Usually, as you do, I think, or maybe not, I always finish the chapters. You can also finish in the middle of chapters. There are usually sections and paragraphs and so on where you can stop, where it is to stop. But I always finish the chapter, because if you read many books at once, you cannot. I don't think it's a good way not to finish the chapter. You have to finish something. So I've read 5-6 chapters in this one in the beginning of the week, just to progress. And I'm curious on this story about Hadrian Marlowe, a nobility who escapes his heritage and his traditions to go out and try to make peace with an alien race called Ciel Sin. This is the fourth book, fourth book in the series. It changes tone very quickly, and it's quite dark actually, so enjoy it a lot. So if you haven't heard of it, you can read it. The first book is Empire of Silence. So I started with this one. As you maybe too, or you're studying or you're working, so of course I only have reading time during the evenings, and usually I'm quite tired when I come home from work, so I do other things. But then maybe from 9 p.m. I try to read a bit, sometimes half an hour, sometimes an hour. If I have a lot of energy, I can read a bit longer, but that's how I do it during the week, of course. As you know, as I said, I like to switch books, so I did that with Kingdoms of Death for a few days, Monday, Tuesday in the beginning of the week, and then I changed book, and I changed to Expanse Wednesday, Thursday to make progress in this one. Really enjoy it. It's a light, not a heavyweight. It's a lightweight science fiction, very cinematic. It's a Amazon, I think, series as well. But books are always better if you can do that. It's a detective noir in space. It centers around a mysterious ship which a crew finds in space called the Scopuli. That space crew in space you find is very strange. spaceship where there is a lot of strange things going on, horror, you could say, horror incidents. And then you have a parallel story with a Detective Miller who is searching for a daughter to a very rich owner of a, you could say, a global company or a multinational company, you could say. The daughter has disappeared, and he's going to try to find her. And I don't want to spoil anything, but that's the plot of the story, and it's also a lot connected to Earth and the Earth politics with the United Nations and so on. But it's put in space, of course, and the roots to Earth is close for them, like in Sunny series. So I read this one Wednesday and Thursday, and then of course Friday. Yesterday I had a little pause in my reading. So then I sometimes read comics. So I'm reading Swamp Thing. I read this several times. I really enjoy this one about this monster in the swamp who is considered to be an enemy by some and by others not. This is, I think, a very much environmental perspectives, but also the perspective of who's the other. I think the artwork, it's Alan Moore, so maybe no presentation is needed. I think the artwork here is just very, very beautiful. It's very detailed. Alan Moore also wrote Watchmen, which you probably know about. Also a great story, but also great artwork in the book. Actually, yesterday I also played a lot of Death Stranding, a video game by Hideo Kojima. It's about an apocalyptic United States where everything is gone, no roads, no internet, no connections. Actually, previously this very strange occurrence or event called Death Stranding, as far as I know so far. The world was connected with the internet, so to speak, and AI and all of these things we have today. But what happened is that people lost contact to each other. So when everything, the emotional contact, that we had to talk to each other, that we had to see each other, everything was automatized and so on. Maybe a process like we can see today. And when all that was gone, that's when we started a game, playing a guy called Sam Porter Bridges. And his task is to connect cities together, connect people together, help people. You deliver furniture, you deliver cosmetic products, you deliver video games to people who need that, for example. So actually it's about filling or creating a human space, human connection between people. I think the game has a lot to tell when it comes to that, and a lot to tell when it comes how the technique today maybe is not working so good in favor of us humans feeling togetherness. So that game I played a lot yesterday. I will talk more about the game. I also found out yesterday that there are actually 2 Death Stranding books, so I got really curious on those 2 as well. So yesterday it was comics and it was some Death Stranding, quite a good life if you ask me. And then today I'm preparing for tomorrow's conversation with Rick. Probably not, we will not record that. We're reading Shogun together, as some of you know. We're reading the first approximately 100 pages and going to talk about them tomorrow, just as a prep for maybe a recording. So today my focus is Shogun, and also for tomorrow probably I will have some time to read more things, and then it will probably be The Expanse. So as you hear, I switch books, I change medium of storytelling. So first books, then some comics, then some video game, and switching back and forth. It works for me. Maybe it can work for you too. And a very good advice, I think, is from the yogic practice that I use, is that if you can't focus on what you're reading, it's time to do something else. I mean, that doesn't mean you need to continue reading. You can do something completely different. Um, be with friends, family, of course, or take a walk, do things you like. But if you can't focus on what you're reading, it's time to take a break. And that's, for me at least, I have difficulty focusing on a book from page 1 to page 500, for example, only that one. Um, so we are different people, and you can actually Google around here on the YouTube or YouTube search, and you can find videos of people who manage many things at once. That goes uh, in hand with how I live my life in general, and I really like doing that. So maybe that can be a way for you too, but don't need to do that, of course. One at a time seems to be the thing you actually learn to do when you're small. But for me, I always change a bit. So that's my personality. Um, I think it's different between games and books, for example. I think books are easier to switch. When I play video games, I tend to stick with the game I play with. But then the games, like the books today, are so huge. So that can force me to change games as well. Some of you know that I play board games as well. So when it comes to board games, I usually those board games are so big, so I usually focus on one at a time. So that's a different strategy, and almost like I have one every second or third month, because I usually have them on the table. The games are big, so you don't want to remove them and pick up another game. It's quite fiddly, and the rules can be quite fiddly as well in many of the games. So because of that, I try to just limit myself. So what about that? Maybe that means that it's easier to switch games. Video games might be easier, and books too, but board games then it's more difficult. So bit of a rant here. I hope you enjoy that. And the idea was to talk about how I can plan my reading week, how I focus on many books at once, many stories at once. So I would like to hear your tips on that, and maybe you read in a different way. Maybe you are a one book reader, so please tell me about that. And one thing I'm curious on is, because I'm a mood reader, so I read what I enjoy for the day. So if you're just reading a book per time, how do you feel? Do you feel that you're doing it from page 1 to 500 of pure enjoyment, or are you doing that just to have finished a book, for example, as a chore or not? There's no problem with reading in that way, but I'm curious because I used to do those things and on my job, for example. Then, of course, I have to finish things. But I feel like when I'm free and I'm not working, I'm trying to use the time as so much that it suits the purpose of having just a great leisure time and feeling relaxed. So until next time, very soon, see you. Bye.